Hello again, Tropics fans, and as promised, a bonus edition of Tropics Weekly for you as we get ready for the 2021 season. Really, the 2021 season is only just 1 year since we didn't play in 2020, but the Tropics excited to get back on the pitch this weekend, tomorrow night, as they host the St. Louis Ambush for a weekend doubleheader. And we're with Coach Clay Roberts, who will be guiding the Tropics in now, hard to believe almost, isn't it, the 5th season of indoor soccer?
It's gone by quick, but painfully slow at times, right? I think that's okay to say.
Last year was quick, and it was great. It was a season like no other, and that was kind of one of my first questions for you is, you know, for the first 3 years, we were kind of the hunters, and now we're the hunted. We're no secret anymore in the MASL. How does that change, if at all, the approach and what you're doing as the coach?
You know, obviously Dr. Yakovitis made a great investment last year, and he kind of set the Tropics on a course for the future, which is fantastic. And the team last year did, you know, exactly what we wanted them to do and lived up to the expectation and really worked hard for the successes that they had. But it does kind of put us in that position now of, you know, everybody's gunning for us, and it's a great feeling. You know, it's a feeling that we have not had, but it does raise the bar for our training and expectation. It's probably still the same. You know, it's never been low, and I think that we have, you know, a returning group from last year's roster that are just as eager and just as hungry to get back at it and really kind of finish off or have another chance. Really is really a better way to say it. You know, have another chance to have another great season and make the memories, you know, again like we had experienced last year.
And I'm curious how you've approached it with the team that you had such success last year, won the Eastern Conference Championship, but obviously denied the opportunity to complete the job, if you will. Are you using that as motivation, or are you telling the guys, forget it, this is a new year, and what happened then really isn't applicable to this season?
Yeah, I think...
or a little bit of both, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think it is a little bit of both. You know, the returners can have that feeling. They can have that feeling of, you know, we didn't get to finish a job that we were set out to do, but also that realization that this is a new year, and it's a new team, and we all took a big break, not only our team, but the other franchises. And as the game's coming back and the players are coming back, you know, it's really about how this team's coming together. And that's something we've been talking about in the preseason is, what is this team's unity? How is this team becoming cohesive? With the schemes that we want to put in the game, the rhythm that we want to play, and the identity that we're trying to create as a new team. You know, with so many returners, you still have to say this is a new team. We haven't played a game with this team this season, and so we're excited for this weekend, and obviously tomorrow will be a great matchup against a great franchise in the St. Louis Ambush.
Yeah, become quite a rival over the last 3 or 4 seasons for sure, and they have improved dramatically. They added Max Ferdinand from Milwaukee, but we kind of rated Milwaukee as well in a big way, signing Chad Vandegrift as a free agent. And then the really big news coming a little before Christmas that Ian Bennett, a true superstar in the game, would be playing for the Tropics this year. Talk just, if you would, a moment about what those two bring and how that raises the expectation even higher, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, to add 2 great players in the offseason, 3, Kyle Williams, who's still not with us, he'll be joining us here later in February. You know, we kind of took the same approach this offseason of saying, you know what, we had a great and busy offseason last year. We signed multi-year deals with key impact players, and that really established our core. And so with all those guys essentially returning, gaining confidence together, it was really about what are the pieces that maybe we can just, you know, make ourselves better at. And we had a great defense last year, and Chad was sitting there in the free agency, and Chad and I had spoke, you know, in prior years about opportunities, and so it just was a good timing thing. Like most situations in free agency, is a great timing. I was looking for a change, and obviously to put him to a long-term deal was fantastic for us. And then Kyle came on there again in a long-term deal. We're excited for him to be joining us, and know that maybe he'll bring a spark, you know, in a month or so to the team that we need when he arrives. But obviously the late addition with Ian was a little bit unexpected for everybody, and there was that unknown. Is Milwaukee going to play? If not, what does that mean for their players? You know, these are great players, and they want to play. And so the second we found out that, hey, you know, we're going to have an access to to the players in the league that aren't able to play, obviously he's a main target, and I'm pretty sure everyone in the league called him, and just said, hey, love for you to be here, which is what we did. And naturally, I think these players want to play with guys that they're friends with, and they have cohesiveness. And I'd said to Ian, look, I think your transition here will be really easy. We've got former players of yours, a similar style of play, and a little bit of swagger, which you love, and we want to see that swagger on our field and a part of our franchise. And so we're delighted for him to have joined us and come on for the season. And we know it's a short-term situation, but you're only as good as the season you're playing. And there's a lot of one-year deals that are signed out there. And so we're delighted that he's with us for the year.
Well, we're encouraging all Milwaukee Wave fans to join the Tropics this year, at least online for the games, with all the Milwaukee talent, with Chad and Ian coming on new this year. And, of course, Drew Ruggles, the defending now MASL Defender of the Year, and a guy that you kind of forget about, Ricardinho, who's a very good midfielder who was injured for much of the year last year, but will be an important, healthy player right now for 2021. But you mentioned it, and I think maybe most importantly, the thing that really to emphasize and for fans is the top 7 scorers from last year are all coming back, are still part of the team. When you guys have like Ricardo Carvalho and Victor and Zach Reggett, who will sit out this weekend but is close to coming back from shoulder surgery, Guilherme, the list goes on. How important is that continuity? Because you didn't have that. We've never had that really in the 5 years that the Tropics have been here. Now we do. How much easier has it made your job this camp to look out there and see the same faces that you saw last year?
Well, it's nice to have the returning players, and it's nice to know that familiarity is going to be there. But it's not an easy place to be as a coach because there is so much talent, and our job is to try to get the right people on the field at the right time together, and the guys make it a great session every time to pick and choose, and they give their effort, and the training level has been fantastic in preseason. The energy has been contagious, and there's just a lot of excitement building for this weekend. And so we're excited to have all those guys back in. We have threats everywhere, and so that's exciting to us. Now add an Ian into that mix and just throw one more, kind of option out there for us, is fantastic. So we're excited about, kind of who we are returning. We're excited about new players, and we hope the fans will be out to support us much like they were last year.
Let's talk quickly about St. Louis, the opponent this weekend. If there's a most improved team, at least on paper in the league, it may be St. Louis. Not only did they add Max Ferdinand, but guys like Sam Guernsey and Richard Schmerman, who both came over from Baltimore in the offseason. They return Duduka, who is one of the best young players, rookie players in the entire league last year. JT Thomas is a player I know that you like. This is a good side and will be a very good test to open the campaign, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people could look at the Central Cup results and say, maybe St. Louis is not what they're hyped up to be, and I completely disagree. One, they have a fantastic coach in Everton, a good friend of mine, former teammate, who's leading the helm still. They've made all those great additions, took one of our players, or two of our players from last year's side, Stefan Mijatovic and Brett in the goal. And so, they are a very improved team. They kind of somewhat took a strategy that we took the year prior and made some great offseason signings for their club. And, I think they're still piecing it together. And so, I would, and I've said to our team, and you've been a part of some of those talks, that for us to underestimate an opponent based on, a couple friendly games that have been played is the worst thing that we can do. They are a very improved team. They're very dangerous. Just adding Tawny Walls this week and bringing back their core group as well. Yeah. And so I do think that we're in for a fun weekend of MASL soccer, and we need to be at our best to get the wins that we're seeking.
Yeah, it'll be important to get a quick start, no question, with 5 straight home games to start the season before going on the road for a trip to St. Louis at the end of the month for a doubleheader weekend there as well. So we are just literally about 24 hours or less now away from the start of the MASL season, not only for the Tropics, but the entire league will kick off with this game game Saturday here at the RP Funding Center, a 5:05 start, and then right back at it Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock as the Ambush in Tropics will do the doubleheader thing this weekend. So we, as Clay said, hope to see you out here at the RP Funding Center. Tickets available now online. Just go to the Tropics Facebook page and the events section. You'll find a ticket purchase link there, and you can come on out. We can accommodate about 1,500 fans here at the RP Funding Center. All the seats are marked where you can and can't sit, so it's easy to socially distance and observe all those rules that are still very important during this national pandemic as we get better with it, but still a ways to go. And Florida, very fortunate to be one of the few teams able to have fans at games here in January. In fact, I think there's only 4 teams, us, St. Louis, Kansas City, and Dallas right now that actually can have fans in the arena. So it's one of the reasons the Tropics have so many home games in January, and a great opportunity for the local soccer community to come out and support the Tropics and maybe finish what we started in the 2019-20 season. That's the hope anyway. So we will see you here at the RP Funding Center tomorrow and or Sunday, we hope. Then Kansas City comes to town January 8th and 10th, and then Dallas will wrap up the homestand on a Saturday night here at the RP Funding Center on January 16th. So Tropics soccer is back. The MASL is back. We couldn't be more excited. Coach Clay couldn't be more excited. We hope you will come out and support the Tropics again. As Coach Roberts mentioned, like he did last year, it was a great season here, and we expect another one to be just as exciting and maybe have a much better finish than we had off the field in 2019 and 20, something that was, of course, beyond everyone's control. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. Best of luck for the season. We'll check in with you, I'm sure, during the season as well. We will have a new edition of Tropics Weekly for you next week. Until then, have a great week, everybody.